Right now, the whole world is watching Lionel Messi and the Argentine national team absolutely dazzle on the pitch at the 2026 World Cup. But behind the scenes, there's a completely different, much darker game being played right now. And trust me, the stakes could not be higher.
While Lionel Messi chases history on the pitch, the federation behind him is being investigated by the FBI for allegedly laundering $300 million. Welcome to Flop Files.
Part 1. The bombshell breaking news and a $300 million question mark.
So, picture this. Just as the tournament is hitting its absolute fever pitch on July 7th, a massive bombshell drops. According to some incredibly explosive breaking reports from Argentina's La Nación and the Miami Herald, federal investigators in the U.S., specifically the FBI and the Department of Justice, are heavily scrutinizing the Argentine Football Association, or the AFA. They're examining over $300 million in sponsorship revenue that was allegedly routed through U.S. banks, and they're looking at a complex web tied to potential bank fraud and money laundering.
Honestly, the sheer scale of that number is staggering. Over $300 million. We aren't just talking about a few misplaced accounting errors here. We're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars of commercial and sponsorship revenue that, historically, would go directly back to Argentina to fund things like youth soccer clubs. But instead, that money was allegedly diverted.
Part 2. Following the paper trail and the Miami connection.
So, if the money didn't make it to the youth clubs in Buenos Aires or Rosario, where exactly did it go? Well, we have to follow the paper trail. And here's a bit of a cliffhanger for you. Where did all that international sponsorship money actually end up? Believe it or not, the answer doesn't lie in some grand corporate headquarters. It literally leads us straight to a mailbox in South Florida.
This brings us to a company called TourProd Enter LLC, based out of Aventura, Florida. Now, this newly founded company, which reportedly had absolutely zero prior experience in football, was suddenly designated as the AFA's exclusive international commercial agent. And the terms? They were given an allegedly unprecedented 30% fixed commission on the AFA's external revenue. Look, in the world of sports marketing, a 30% cut to a brand new intermediary is frankly completely illogical.
This whole operation builds step by step, almost like a blueprint for a heist. First step, the AFA grants all its international commercial rights to this Miami company. Step 2, according to investigative reports, FIFA actually transferred prize money and funds directly into this private LLC's accounts, bypassing the AFA entirely. And then, Step 3, once it was in the U.S. banking system, millions were allegedly diverted into a massive maze of shell companies.
And you know, this brilliantly illustrates exactly what financial investigators look for. We call these anti-money laundering, or AML, red flags. We're looking at funds moving rapidly through major institutions like Bank of America and JP Morgan. But even more concerningly, the money then allegedly flowed through smaller South Florida remittance intermediaries. Investigative journalists actually uncovered that some of the shell companies receiving these funds were registered to ordinary people who were bankrupt or even living in public housing. Then, suddenly, these individuals acquired immense wealth, bought luxury properties, and then completely vanished, changing their phone numbers and just disappearing from their cities entirely.
To ground all this financial data in physical reality, just look at this number, 45. While the U.S. federal probe focuses on the banking system, Argentine authorities have been conducting their own parallel raids. They recently raided a luxury property linked to AFA officials and seized an incredible 45 luxury cars and 7 motorcycles, valued at over €500,000. Now, the property was registered to a company owned by a lower-level AFA official and his retired mother. These are people who prosecutors say simply lack the financial means to legally acquire those kinds of assets.
Part 3. Echoes of the 215 scandal and the precedent.
If this sprawling network of offshore accounts and Miami intermediaries sounds eerily familiar, you definitely aren't alone. For compliance professionals and die-hard football fans alike, this feels like history repeating itself. The absolutely crucial point here is understanding the jurisdiction. Like, why is the FBI even involved in a South American Football Federation? Well, think back to 2015, when the U.S. Department of Justice and the IRS Criminal Investigation Division dismantled FIFA's top leadership. They didn't do it because the crimes happened on U.S. soil. They did it because the bribes and the laundered money flowed directly through U.S. bank accounts.
This comparison really just lays it out perfectly. In 2015, dozens were charged with wire fraud and money laundering because they used U.S. banks to handle their illicit sports marketing bribes. Fast forward to 2026, and we are looking at the exact same legal framework. Over $300 million routed through Miami entities, allegedly utilizing the U.S. financial system to obscure the true destination of the funds.
The precedent has been set here, and let me tell you, the hammer of the U.S. Justice Department hits incredibly hard.
If you're enjoying this documentary, subscribe to Flop Files and share this video with a football fan. We uncover the stories behind football's greatest moments and biggest comebacks.
Part 4. Will Argentina be disqualified? Let's talk about the stakes on the pitch.
So, now we really have to address the massive elephant in the room. What does this mean for the players on the pitch? Could the reigning champions actually be disqualified? Let's look at the facts. The original tip-off for this money laundering investigation didn't just come out of thin air. It reportedly originated back in 2024 from Argentina's own Ministry of Security. And on top of the financial scandal, there's some intense on-pitch drama. Controversial referee decisions favoring Argentina have ignited explosive rumors of rigged matches. Now, while those are unconfirmed, FIFA is reportedly monitoring the situation very closely. But legal experts do note that until formal charges directly implicate the tournament's integrity, an immediate disqualification remains pretty unlikely.
Meanwhile, the authorities at the center of this storm are keeping their cards incredibly close to the chest. When asked for comment by the media, the FBI's Miami office gave their standard, kind of chilling response. They said, "The FBI does not confirm nor deny the existence of investigation except in rare circumstances." So, despite the political anger and the wild rumors swirling all over social media, the federal investigators are remaining officially and very strategically silent.
Part 5. Glory and a federal case. It's a truly surreal contrast.
Which brings us to the absolute surreal contrast of the present moment. Can Argentina lift the World Cup while their own house is under a massive federal investigation? On one hand, you have Lionel Messi out there fighting for national glory. But on the other hand, you have AFA President Claudio Tapia fighting a literal legal nightmare. The situation is so severe that Tapia was reportedly hit with a travel ban, and he only managed to attend this World Cup after paying a massive bail sum.
In a matter of hours, Argentina could be crowned World Cup champions again. But off the pitch, a $300 million question mark hangs over the very federation lifting the trophy. Some victories come with an asterisk attached before the final whistle even blows. Thanks for watching Flop Files.